Well, checking in now on the American service members in harm's way in Japan. We understand that there is nobody hurt, thankfully, in that regard. But we do have a significant presence there. One of the largest U.S. bases outside this country is in southwest Japan, the home of the Navy's 7th Fleet. And the Japanese foreign minister, these headlines just crossing moments ago, asking for help from the U.S. military. That's coming in from the Japanese news services. Joining us now from San Diego is KT McFarland, a Fox News national security analyst. Of course, good morning, KT. Good to speak with you.
Good morning, Martha.
Just tell me what your take is on this in terms of our position there, our naval position in Japan, and what we are in position to do to help.
Okay, well, the Navy, especially in the last decade, has really taken on this new mission, which is a global force for good, which is to provide humanitarian and disaster relief. Now, clearly, we're very well positioned to do so in Japan because, as you said, we have a major naval presence there. But because the U.S. Navy can sail the 7 seas, it's within hours of most countries to be able to provide this. We are the first responders in most crises. And so, for example, there's a ship in the region near Malaysia, the USS Essex, which is an amphib. Now, those are ships normally in wartime where they would take Marines into battle and they would treat injured Marines on board. What they can do, though, in a situation like this is they've got hundreds of hospital beds. They have doctors, they have medics, they have heavy lift helicopters that can fly into that region, deliver supplies, deliver medical equipment, deliver food. They have landing craft, which can do the same thing. They can evacuate people. They can bring them on the ship. They have intensive care units. They have operating rooms on these ships. So in a situation like this, whether we saw in Southeast Asia, as you just talked about, with a tsunami there, or whether in Haiti or now in Japan, if the government asks us, the government of Japan asks us, you know, the United States Navy is ready to help.
Yeah, and has been indicated on these Japanese news services, at least, that the Prime Minister Khan, and President Obama have been communicating. Obviously, right, you can't be prepared for something like this. So what happens in terms of the Navy being supplied for what might be needed in Japan? How does that all get into gear?
Okay, well, I've been talking to naval officials in Hawaii and in the United States in the last couple of hours, and they were already starting to make preparations so that if they were asked, they could immediately go into action. What they'll do in a situation like this is a couple of things. They'll provide humanitarian disaster relief to Japan where indicated and where asked. And we have, for example, we have helicopters that can reach into areas where the roads might no longer be there. The only way you can access them would be by helicopters. We have Seabees who can help rebuild roads in areas where those roads have been destroyed. And probably in a situation like this, most importantly, every naval ship the United States Navy has the ability to make fresh water. That's going to be a critical thing as huge. A lot of the infrastructure, that's going to be huge as the infrastructure has probably been destroyed. Now, the U.S. Navy itself, what about our ships? You know, as you're pointing out, there'll be a tsunami that'll even hit the west coast of the United States. The best place for our ships in a situation like that is at sea. So they may start taking ships out of port and put them into sea.
Yeah, it is quite a story, and the U.S. Navy is an incredible organization that we know will be there to help. KT, thanks for outlining how some of that will work.
Martha.
Good to speak with you this morning.